everybody! So, it is Abyss Battle for February 2025, and as we can see this month, we need to use the water element. So, just like always, we take on the outpost quests. We get boss tickets. We get those tickets and we can fight the bosses. The damage we do to the bosses equals points. The points mean prizes. And just like in the past, we're getting astral spheres, astral shards, the masterpiece shards, and yes, it is 25 billion still to get all of them. There are a few more points. Prizes up to 70 billion if you want to clear out those. So we will take on the outpost quest first. I'll get to very hard. We'll take that one out. And we'll move over to the bosses and have a look at what the best teams are to take on these bosses this month. Okay, so we have made it to the very hard outpost quest. Let's jump in and see how we do. I'm going to just try and do it with this team here. We didn't quite have the damage to take it out, so these outpost quests are looking a little stronger than maybe they have been in the past. We're going to try just changing this team up very slightly here. We're going to take out the Mimi, Summer Mimi. She didn't do a huge amount of damage. Let's put in Sheffy here and see if we can beat it with her. Now there are a lot of tank options on the physical side. I think the physical side of this water team will be a little bit better for this than the magical side. With several multiple targets tanks for this physical side of the water team. We've got the Summer Shizuru here, as we can see. Perhaps you could try Kuka, Summer Kuka, who's a welfare unit. Maybe even the New Year's Ray, who's also a welfare unit. They are all multiple target tank characters. And if you've got the Winter Uni, you're going to want to use her instead of Ameth on the physical team. So hopefully this will go a little bit better. Even the second one, the hard one, I did run into a little bit of trouble with my magical team. I ended up Pirate Anne as the tank. Maybe that was the problem. If I swapped her out for somebody else tanking, perhaps that would have worked a little bit better. But that went a lot better, just swapping out Mimi for Sheffy there. So now we have beaten the outpost quest. We can get all our tickets. Remember to skip them every day with the skip tickets. And then we can take on the bosses. So let's come back once we are to the bosses and we'll see how we can do, what are the teams we've got to fight them this month. So then let's move over to the bosses that we have got this month, and first boss that we are taking on is Ulfedin. And let's put this on to fight so we can jump in. We do have a few resources available to us this month to have a look at teams to take on these bosses with. We have this chart here from Everu, I believe, a JP Princess Connect content creator. There's also a Worry Chef's Google Docs. We won't be looking at that on the video today, but I will link it in the video. Thanks to all the guys that do go out the way to make these resources for us. Definitely makes our life a lot harder. So, Ulfedin, we can see here, if we want to one-pound the very hard mode, we need to be getting 300 million. All of these teams here, if you have the skill tree, look like they could be capable of that. If we can get 334 million, so the top three of them, they should be able to 3-pan the extreme mode. The thing is, it looks like all of these teams are tanked by 6 Iruka. If you don't have her or you can't borrow her, that might be a problem. Most of the teams have got the Winter Uni in them. A couple of budget options if you don't have her in Summer Ameth and Summer Saren. But the Winter Cheru, the Princess Sheffy and the Expert Miyako all feature quite heavily in the team comps for this boss. One character that is missing a little bit there, which is a little surprising, is the Summer Riri. Summer Riri is not featuring too highly. So we're going to borrow Cherry. We're going to go in with this team here. If we had the Summer Ray, maybe we could have run the team that was just above it. But both of those teams seem to have a similar amount of damage output. So again, we're trying to get a one-pan on this that will save us a few boss tickets. Hopefully it will not be too difficult. As we can see here, physical side of the water element seems to be the way to go here with Ulfedin. And around as you would expect, a lot of the more recent characters of water physical was built up quite a lot through last year. Hopefully you can build a team to take on this boss. Now we have got well, a few teams here. The Winter Cheru, hopefully we can borrow here. It's nice to see Xmas Miyako being used a little bit more. I did have to put in a little bit of resources into my Xmas Miyako to bring her up to battle standards to take out this boss. So maybe it is worth spending a little bit of resources on some of these characters. Also had to put in a little bit of resources to one of these fights, the next one, but maybe we should talk about it there, into Ruka, so that she could actually tank and not die. So what have we got then? We are coming quite close here with this, even with, I would say I've got a pretty decent skill tree, and it is still being brought quite close to the wire, but with 2 seconds left, we have beaten Ulfred in there. Let's see who does the damage on this. Get our rewards. Remember to be putting these rewards into your skill tree as you're going along. It could always help you get out a little bit of extra damage. Jeffy up there at the top, most damage. MVP for this fight. So there we go. That is Ulfred in. Let's move over then to boss number 2. Okay then, time for boss number 2 then, Nepturion, who is our multiple target boss this month. So let's jump over then and have a look at some of the teams for Nepturion. As we see here, again, mostly physical is the way to go. We have got Pyrodam jumping in, he's magical on the physical teams. A lot of Winter Uni, again the same options with Saren and the Amethyst Summer variants. If you don't have the Uni account borrow hair, Hayori there, she's free to play. You should have a, hopefully you ground hair out. Summer Mimi. We do have Riri in there a little bit this time. There's a Summer Riri. We didn't see that before. So let's jump over then. A few of these, but from the bottom one, should be able to one-pan this very hard mode. So I'm going to go in with this team here because we don't have the Winter Uni. Maybe if one was to be borrowed, perhaps we could have used them. That would have probably been a little bit better on the results. As long as we can one-pan this mode, then I think we should be happy with that. I think this boss, it does look a little bit friendlier, perhaps a little bit friendlier to have the team here. There are a few free-to-play options in here, or banner units that you could have ground out. But at the same time, there's also still a lot of recent characters that you are going to need to take on Nepturion. There are a few multiple target magic options. We are kind of using one of them in Pyrodam. But it's a shame that our Alpha Labarista wasn't better against multiple targets. Because it'd be nice to see a multiple target magical team. We've got the Summer Rantha, we've got the Summer EO, which was free to play, which I was hoping when she came out would be a bit better of a DPS. Hasn't really turned out that way. So as I said, it looks like it is better to go a physical route here with Pirate Anna on the team, and it is very close here. 1 second to go! Holy moly! If you're out on the bottom end of these teams, it can get a little bit tight, but we've got our rewards. We have most times here Pirate Anne, Summer Kayori not doing too bad, Summer Mimi not doing terrible either. Oof! Breathe a sigh of relief. Anyway, that is Nepturion beaten, so let's move on to our last and final boss here, number 3. Woohoo! Okay, so it's time to move on to our final boss this month, Musufushu, who is back with a vengeance, just like Bruce Willis. So let's jump over quickly before we jump in and have a look at some teams for Musufushu. As you can see here, Musufushu is the boss we will be using our magical side of the water element on. I'm a bit surprised that we don't have 2 magical and 1 physical, with a lot of the magical water buffs coming pretty recently in the Alchemist Nozomi and the Alpha Labarista. As you can see here, every team on this sheet has got Summer Kasumi in it. If you don't have Summer Kasumi, you could put in the Summer Carol. That's the only one that doesn't, as we can see here, as a budget option, it does do a little bit less damage. Looking at the damage here, we're looking at 300 million, so only 2 of teams on here can £1 the very hard mode, making this Musafushu look like it might be a little bit of a tricky boss to take on. So let's jump over here, and I'm going to be going in with a team that's not on this list. It is on the Worry Chef's Google Docs, and as we can see here, we're running this team, the main core of this team here, and instead of having the Summer Kasumi in, we have got the Summer Kyoka. Now this team should hopefully be able to one-pan it, so this might be a third option for people to one-pan it, but it does look like it might be tricky to build teams of Musafushu. A big reliance on this 4 character core, the Nenika, the Labarista, the Ameth, and the Nozomi. There are, as you saw on that sheet though, a few teams that you can build. If you're missing 1 or 2 of them, you can borrow 1, but you are still missing 1. There are a few little workarounds, but they may not be the best. And if I did have my Summer Kasumi built, this team would do a hell of a lot better, I would imagine. I can buy her with shards, 145 shards. I can buy her, but then it would take a lot of resources getting her up to game spec, up to 5-star, getting the equipment leveled up and everything like that. So if this team can one-pan the Musafushu, then we will go with that one instead. fingers crossed. It is early days. Maybe a Summer Kasumi might come up on the friend list in the near future. If it does, we'll give that one a try. Hopefully then that will do a lot more damage than this. So hopefully you can build one of these magical teams to take on Musafushu as we are coming in to 10 seconds left. It's looking like it's going to be extremely tight. I have been leveling up and buffing these characters as much as I can in their EX equipments, etc, etc. And with 2, hold our breath there, 2 seconds left, we've beaten it. Just like Bruce Willis, the Die Hard film. Actually, he would have won. Musafushu didn't. Anyway, there we go. Let's have a look at the damage we are getting here. Alpha Labarista doing great damage there. Summer Kyoka, yes, getting her rung out, and with enough buffs on her, enough equipment on her, and enough of the skill tree, she is capable then of one-panning Musafushu. So there we go. That is Abyssal Battle here for February 2025. Extreme is unlocked. As always, the Extreme is no more difficult than the Very Hard. Go in with your best team for Very Hard. The Extreme just has more hit points. You're just going to take a few more times on it. We should then be able to get all the rewards. So hopefully you can build these teams. This Abyssal Battle is not too difficult for you. Let me know how you were doing with it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm Tokkuri Yashi. See you all again for another video. Bye 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 bye. Hey.